we're just want to share again how pleased we are to be back. We have very fond memories of the first time we got to play here, and it is now arguably kind of a minute. And a lot of things have happened between now and then and now. And also to be here with Gary and Alex. It is a mechaya. It is very Hamish to be here with you. We are very glad. We are just coming off of Pesach, Passover, which is a season where we ask many questions. But if we're honest, Jews ask a lot of questions all of the time. And this comes from the, I think, arguably Bundist and anarchist lineage of, the Pale of Settlement. And it asks some questions about why the world is the way that it is. Rabbi Tzai, Chacham Mona Brei, ich will euch fragen, entfällt alle auf mein Scheile.
Oh, wise people, I have a question.
Wie azoi trinkt der Kaiser Tee?
How does the Tsar drink his tea?
Wie azoi trinkt der Kaiser Tee? Men nimmt a Hitler
You take a
Zucker
barrel of sugar.
und man gießt in eine Rechele
You carve a little hole in
und
the
man
top.
gießt in eine
You pour in the hot water.
und man mischt
And you
und
stir
man
and you
mischt.
stir.
Atazoi,
Just like that.
Atazoi trinkt der Kaiser Tee.
That's how the Tsar drinks his tea.
Atazoi trinkt der Kaiser Tee. Rabbi Tzai, Chacham Mona Brei, ich will euch fragen, entfällt alle auf mein Scheile.
Oh, wise people, I have another question.
Wie azoi ist der Kaiser Obes?
How does the Tsar eat potatoes?
Wie azoi ist der Kaiser Obes? Man nimmt a Fessel Butter und man stellt weg dem Kaiser auf der andere Seite und rote Soldaten mit Harman schießen die Bulbes durch die Butter dem Kaiser gleich in einem Malerei.
So basically, you shoot a potato from a cannon through a wall of butter straight into the Tsar's mouth. Just like that.
Atazoi ist der Kaiser Bulbes.
That's how the Tsar eats potatoes.
Atazoi ist der Kaiser Bulbes.
I have one more question.
Rabbi Tzai, Chacham Mona Brei, ich will euch fragen, entfällt alle auf mein Scheile. Wie azoi schläft der Kaiser bei Nacht.
How does the Tsar sleep at night?
Wie azoi schläft der Kaiser bei Nacht.
You
Meschiffen
fill a
von Cheder mit
room
Feather.
full of
Mal
feathers,
es rein
and
dem
you
Kaiser.
cram the Tsar in. And then you have 300 soldiers standing guard
Nacht
all
und
night,
schreien.
and then they yell,
Shut,
the
shut,
fuck
shut!
up! Just like that.
Atazoi schläft der Kaiser bei Nacht.
That's how the Tsar sleeps at night.
Atazoi schläft der Kaiser bei Nacht.
And then Saturday morning I woke up, I thought, I'm going to go listen to the Celtic Jam. So I was sitting there, and then I said to them, thank you so much for bringing Celtic music in here. And then I started to cry. I mean, it was like the first instrument he ever gave me was a penny whistle. And then Doug said, and I don't know Doug at all, but he said, the whole community needs to grieve. And when he said that, it was like, so much of the weight got lifted off of me, because I realized, wow, Theo was going to leave this to just he and I. And when Doug said that, it was like, thank you so much that the community needs to grieve. The Ruby died on the same day as Cafe Razor. So that next day, we happened to drive by Cafe Razor. We didn't even know about it. And there was a massive community grieving going on, right? So I was like, thank you for that. And then he came over and he talked to me. And I'll just say, the attention that Doug gave me, he was so present and so safe that I said to him, if Theo goes ahead with this, then we're going to lose the Buzzard in the same month Ruby died in May. It's just like, that can't happen. And that's when Doug just, I don't know if that was the moment for you, but he just said, well, we're going to try and save it. So I hope that was somewhat of a helpful little background, that, not to mention that Theo was a political hippie in the 60s. He wasn't a romantic hippie. So Theo has kept that bohemian funky style there. And watching the documentary on what happened in India, Modi and everything, I thought, we cannot take democracy for granted. We really actually do need Couth Buzzard. Like, we do need to gather these things. So really watching that Modi thing was like, okay, I can see it. We've got to harness what his values were. We've got to harness those values, and we've got to somehow hold on to them for dear life.
300 Jewish prisoners were captured on that day. Advised to, before you're captured, throw your dog tags away. The letter H emblazoned screams out the word Hebrew. Your life expectancy is short when they learn you are a Jew. Master Sergeant Edmonds hailed from eastern Tennessee. Prayed to Jesus every day to be the best that he could be. He was barely older than the youngest man. As the ranking NCO, he was in command. Edmonds knew it was true, the war was nearly done. He vowed to keep his men alive till the war was won. He stood against the commandant to ease his captives' plight. They knew he could not be deterred when he fought for what was right. Word come from the commandant next day at roll call. Just sent out the Jewish prisoners, just the Jews, that's all. Everybody understood what that order meant. If Edmonds did obey it to their deaths, these men would be sent. Edmonds came up with a plan, though the outcome wasn't doubt. Next morning when roll call comes, we're all trying out. Commandant could not believe his eyes, standing proud and grim. 1,300 pairs of eyes were staring back at him. Said the commandant to Edmonds, is this some kind of joke? Everybody held their breath to hear the words the sergeant spoke. All we're required is to give you our number, rank, and name. We are all Americans. We're all the same. said the commandant to Edmonds. Identify the Jews. Pressed the pistol up against his ear. He said, you'll die if you refuse. Edmonds looked him in the eye. His voice filled the morning air as he informed the commandant, we're all Jews here. We're all Jews here. If you shoot me, said Edmonds, you're gonna have to kill us all. The war will soon be over. War crimes justice is gonna call. Commandant turned livid, but there was nothing he could say. He holstered his weapon and he turned. He walked away. It's been generations since the end of World War II, but memories still linger on, and all the years go through. There are those who still remember that icy winter day, and the courage of that sergeant, and the words they heard him say. He said, we're all Jews here. Sergeant Edmonds spoke those words with a pistol pressed against his ear. We're all Jews here. We're all Jews here. We're all Jews here.
This is a song that was written by the English singing group The Young'uns, and it tells a really important story. I believe The Young'uns sang here once. No. Oh. Again, you cannot trust me. I'm sorry. But this is a true story. This tells the story of a time in 1936 when Oswald Mosley, leader of a fascist movement in England, attempted to lead a march of his supporters through a primarily Jewish neighborhood, the East End in London. And as you might expect, the police wanted to turn out. They wanted to turn out to protect Mosley, because that is how the police do. And they would have done so if it wasn't for 100,000 Londoners who turned out to say, not in our city. Wow. Yeah. And I sing this not just to sing, about a victory against fascism, but to remind everybody that in the face of a burgeoning fascist movement here in the U.S., it is not enough to simply be against it. No. We must literally stand up and put our bodies and voices directly in the path of the machinery that would destroy the most endangered among us. Here's Cable Street. On the 4th of October 1936, I was only a lad of 16. But I stood beside men who were 70 and every age in between. There were dockers and teachers, busmen, engineers, boys with no jobs to do. There were women and children, equal in union, atheists, Christians, and Jews. And we had so much to lose. Now with Hitler in Germany, Franco in Spain, we knew what fascism meant. So when Mosley came trouncing, denouncing the Jews to the East End of London, we went. For I'd met refugees who'd fled over the seas, Germans, Italians, and Jews. let them be abused. Oh, we had so much to lose. Now 2,000 fascists, their uniforms black, had set out to march on that day. And 6,000 policemen intended to greet them by making clear the way. But we were there ready, our nerves they were steady, 100,000 en masse. And we planted our feet there along Cable Street and we sang, they shall not pass. No, we sang, they shall not pass. Young lads, we were sent to the side streets to stop the police breaking through. And with swift hands we made strong barricades out of anything we could use. And they came to charge us, but they couldn't budge us with fists and batons and hooves. With as good as we got, we withstood the lot, and we would not be moved. No, we would not be moved. And yes, there was violence, and yes, there was blood, and I saw things a lad shouldn't see. But I'll not regret the day that I stood and London stood with me. And when the word spread that the day had been won and Mosley was limping away, there were shouts, there were cheers, there were songs, there were tears, yes, and they're born to this day. We all swore then we'd stand up again for as long as our legs could, and that when we were gone, our daughters and sons would stand where we stood. Was the first time I heard those two tiny words sung by every woman and man. And now I say them still, and I